Hello and welcome to Miss Amira's day training video from Valentine's Day in 2025. I figured I'd start with a cute little video of us playing. This is at the end of our session. I've left the audio on in the video so that you can hear when I mark a good behavior with yes, or when I speak to her, so that you can hopefully get the timing right at home as well. So the first thing that I wanted to do with her is introduce the idea of leash pressure. So she has no concept of what leash pressure means right now, which is why she pulls so hard on the leash. And so the way that I'm going to start teaching this is upwards leash pressure means to sit. So she was a little reluctant at first because she didn't understand what was happening. But after some repetitions of upwards leash pressure, her butt goes downwards and I release the pressure as soon as her butt hits the ground. I'm not saying sit because this is a new way to ask for that behavior, so I wanted her to just get it without me asking her for a command that she may or may not be able to perform for me, since this is my first time working with her. So you'll see that I turn on the leash pressure and I do not release that leash pressure until she sits. She caught on very quick. So this is downwards leash pressure. So downwards leash pressure means to lay down. If you are savvy, you can use your foot to step on the leash to give that downwards leash pressure. If not, you can use your hand to hold the leash downwards and just apply enough pressure that it's just slightly uncomfortable to get her to figure out how to turn that leash pressure off. So upwards leash pressure is a little more difficult because you have to release the pressure as soon as she sits. Downwards leash pressure is a little bit easier because she releases the pressure herself when she lays down. Now we can work on loose leash walking. So you'll see that when she leaves me, she turns on that leash pressure and I stop moving. I hold that leash pressure until she gives into that leash pressure or looks back at me or something, which I then mark with a yes and then reward her right next to me. So this is directional leash pressure, not upwards or downwards, but it's directional towards me because I'm the one holding the leash. So we're teaching her how to turn off the leash pressure, whether it is upwards, downwards, or towards us. You'll see that I'm also not dragging her towards me. I'm just letting that slightly uncomfortable leash pressure turn on and then letting her turn that off and get a cookie for coming closer. So something else that's going to help with loose leash walking is getting her into sort of a heel position. So you'll see me take a treat, put it to her nose, and then swivel her around my side. So that's getting her back into the correct position for what a heel would be. And a couple of clips ago, and right here, you'll see I put a treat to her nose and got her to follow that treat for a few steps and then gave her that treat. So this is also teaching her how to lure, of how to follow that piece of food and do a behavior that we are asking for. So you can start off with just a couple steps and then reward for longer durations of following that cookie straight to her nose. I am making 180-degree turns, and right there she went out in front of me, so I got her back into that heel position. But a big part of loose leash walking is making 180-degree turns where the dog hits the end of the leash and then is expected to join you again, either right there where I got her back next to me, or I turn around on the heel of my foot and start walking the other way abruptly, and she is to follow. And if she does turn with me, then she gets a cookie and praise and pets. If she does not, she hits the end of the leash pressure turns on, and then I keep walking, so she comes with me. And you'll start to notice that as you do that, she will start anticipating when you turn, so she's keeping you in her peripheral now, instead of just going wherever she'd like to. So she starts keeping you in her peripheral, and she'll start to turn with you. And that is when you really want to mark that with a yes, good job, and give her a cookie for that right next to you at your side. You want to make sure to reward the dog where you want them to be. So don't reward them out in front of you when you're trying to work on a loose leash walking or in a heel, because then they are more likely to be out in front of you. This is just how good she was with leash pressure by the end of the session. And here she is walking on a loose leash. So obviously she's great at it in the training center. It's really good to start somewhere that is low distraction environment so that she can succeed and make it easy. But at first it was definitely a higher distraction environment because I don't know that she's ever been in here before. So this is door manners. The idea is if I go towards the door closes. I'm not going to use the leash to pull her back. I want the association to be with the door, not with me, not with the leash. If she goes towards that door, the door closes. You can use this for doors like this, or kennels, or car doors. It is a very quick way to teach the dog that if they are too gung-ho to go out of that door, then the door will shut and they do not get to go out of that door. So they need to wait. I usually give them a little bit of a cue, like okay, or free, or break, so that they know when they can go through that door. So you'll see here she tries to bolt out of that door. I close it, I open it again, and then I give her an okay. Yeah. She did so good today. Thank you so much for letting me work with her. I'd love to work with her again. If you have any questions, please let me know. Here she is doing even better than the first time. Using door manners for crates and doors and car doors is great for an overstimulated dog to calm down a little bit.